So the next day I wake up really early, ready to go to the airport again, head out to the airport. This time I have everything I need. I'm going entirely by myself, completely like parachuting into E3 because I have no scheduled interviews. I have no appointments. I have no idea what this guy told anyone, be it from Nintendo, Sony, or whatever. Like I just know absolutely nothing, right? So I start heading out there to the airport. My mom drove me with my wife, and I get to the airport. I go to the check-in line, and as I'm waiting at the check-in line, I spot someone who looks familiar, right? So I'm like, I know that person from somewhere. And it's like, that's right. I've seen that person in Sony conferences. And I'll have to be honest. I'm ashamed to say I didn't even remember her name. Let me just look up my my cheat sheet here. Okay. So, like I said, I'm ashamed to even say that I didn't really knew her name. Because she knew exactly who I was. But basically, this person was one of the persons that I thanked above, Sandra Pasqua, or Sandra Easter, if you want to say it in English. And the reason why I said earlier that it's like, it's hilarious that that's her name, it's because me finding her was almost like finding an Easter egg. Because, I mean, it was a 1 in a million shot that she would be taking the same flight as I was, on the same day as I was, at the same time as I was, and run into me at a fucking check-in line for the same... Oh my God, I was just like, whatever. So I spot her in the line for like first class, and I'm like, okay. So I go and I do the check-in procedure, whatever. They ask me all kinds of questions, because I mean, flying to America is apparently a big deal. It's like, man, you can't take any bombs on the airplane. You don't say. How about a hunting knife? No? Oh, too bad. How about some C4? You know? It's like, whatever. Of course, you're not going to take a knife on a plane. Let's be honest. Okay, let's be reasonable here. I'm not going to take a knife. I'm not going to take a pistol. And I'm definitely not going to take a bomb because I'm going to be in the damn thing. Okay? But anyways, beyond the point. I see her. I do the check-in procedure. Then I go around. And I just tell her, oh, can I have a quick word with you about something that happened? It's like, and she's like, oh yeah, you're the guy from Portugal Gaming, Rui, right? And I'm like, oh shit, she knows my name and I have no idea what her name is. God damn it. And I'm like, yeah, that's me. But anyways, then we talk for a while. We exchange contacts, all that stuff. And she hears my story and she's like, wow, that's really weird. So there were no reservations for anything, huh? And I'm like, yeah, you know what I mean? Doesn't that sound weird? Yeah, it does. It does sound really weird. Yeah, I know. Anyways, so I'm talking with her and she says, okay, so here's what you got to do to get into the Sony press conference, because apparently he had actually scheduled things with her for Sony events. And I'm like, how does someone even think about doing something like that? It's like, I don't get it. I don't understand, like, what's the point? Because, I mean, he scheduled stuff with Sony, but he did not reserve the flight. He did not reserve the hotel. I'm like, what the hell is going through this person's mind? It's like a complete mind fuck. But anyways, she tells me everything I need to know. She was just completely and utterly amazing. She explains to me, okay, here's the procedure for getting into the Sony press conference. Here's what you got to do. Here's the stuff that you guys have scheduled and all that jazz. And basically, she really hooked me up. She just really totally hooked me up. And after that, she introduced me to a Portuguese reporter, Lourenço Medeiros, who is a news reporter for SIC, which is a Portuguese national television channel, an independent national television channel, not like something funded by the government or whatever. But, and they tell me that they're also going to E3. They're also covering E3, and we all talk for a little while. I tell them my story, all the stuff that had happened to me the previous day. They're like, yeah, man, that's crazy, insane. And we all just kind of hang out until it's time to get on the plane and bail. So we get to the plane, and we fly all the way to Philly. And once I get to Philly, something really weird happens, because I was told in the Portuguese airport in Lisbon's airport that I would be able to just walk out of my flight and go to the next gate of my next flight. And then I would be doing customs checkup when I would actually get to my final destination, Los Angeles, which actually made sense because why the hell would they make me go through security procedure like when I had to pick up a connecting flight? Really? Why would you make me go through customs when I have a connection flight? Huh? Why would you do that to anyone? It makes absolutely no fucking sense. But anyways, we get out of the plane and like instantly, you guys need to go to customs. So we go to customs. Customs just takes forever. And let me tell you, customs really does take forever. So when we're done clearing customs, what happens is I'm then like, okay, now you got to go here, whatever, and go through security again. I'm like, why can't you at least just let me go from customs straight to my flight? Why do I have to go through security again? What the fuck is the point in that? You think I stole a weapon from a customs officer? Are you for real? Like, what the hell is wrong with you, you know? It's like, no. So they basically take me to security procedure, and surprise, surprise, it's like one of the slowest security procedures I've seen in my goddamn life. As a matter of fact, I had to tweet about it. The only thing left for them to do to me in that security procedure was a goddamn cavity search. No, I'm real. I'm serious. Like, they even patted me down and everything. Like, take off your shoes and like stand like this. And then it's like, oh, we detect something in your pockets. And it's like patting me down. Like, what the fuck? Are you serious? Like, you friggin' x-ray scanned me and you did not detect a single thing. You still have to pat me down? Like, what do you think? I got like a pistol in my colon? Really? Come on. Anyways, so I go through the security procedures again. It took me like forever. And this was interesting because when I was scheduling my flights, I was talking with my father about it. And I'm like, oh man, I'm going to get this amazing flight. I'm only going to have like 90 minutes of layover. And my father's like, no. You don't want to do that. Get like 3 hours of layover. And I'm like, oh man, but the closest thing to that is like 4 hours layover. He's like, do that. And yeah, that's a pretty useful advice. Make sure you always get really, and I don't mean like super long layovers, but get yourself at least 3 hours layover. Trust me, you're going to need it. If something fucks up in the airport, which was happening quite a lot. I mean, I took 4 U.S. Airways flights. They all departed late and they all got there late. Okay, every single one of them. So, I mean, actually having a 4-hour layover and both my connection flights was actually really useful because I spent all that time going through security procedures. It was so much fun. But yeah, so once I was down in Philly, I had to go through all the security procedures, whatever, get all that stuff out of the way. And then I go and I just sit at my gate. And at least one thing for U.S. airports, for one, they're really efficient when it comes to like getting your ass on the plane. And two, they all have free Wi-Fi, at least the ones that I was to, like LAX and Philadelphia International. Both of them had free Wi-Fi. And I'm talking like coverage around the whole damn airport. So I thought that was pretty amazing because we didn't get that stuff in Portugal. At least not last time I was there. I'm like, man, I want to get some Wi-Fi. It's like, no, fuck you. You're in Portugal, bitch. No Wi-Fi for you here. I mean, there's Wi-Fi, but you got to pay for it. So anyways, at least I got to use Wi-Fi. Got to talk to my wife. Got to send out a couple of tweets, talk with a couple of people through Skype, whatnot. You know, the works. So, get to Philly, whatever, layover time, and head to LA. Get to LA. Before I left Philly, I gave Aaron a call, letting him know, look, I'm already in Philly. I'm going to be in LA at this time, whatever. So, I get to LA. I call Aaron. Aaron meets up with me, picks me up at the airport, and he takes me to my luxurious hotel. We get to the hotel. And he hands me out my my media badge. We talked for a while, and it was interesting because like Aaron looks nothing like the picture he has in Skype. Like I was looking at this person in front of me, and I'm like, this guy doesn't look like Aaron at all. Then he starts talking and like really fast talker and like more energy in him. Like you could power a small city with the energy this guy has. So it's like, oh, okay, you're definitely Aaron, but I mean, you definitely don't look like the picture you got on Skype, but whatever. So we hook up and he drives me to the hotel. He hands me my media badge. And it was really funny because he just had like this big box with everyone's badges on it. So I'm just like looking like, oh, look, here's Jesse Cox's badge. Here's Total Biscuit's badge. And here's, just seeing like all these badges for all these people. And I'm like, oh, this is interesting. There's so many badges in here. And then he just hands me out my badge. And then I do the check-in for the hotel, all that stuff, put my stuff in the room. And then we both come back down because apparently there was a party in my hotel every single night during E3. People would just go to my hotel and party for whatever reason. I mean, I guess that a lot of people just want to go there and party, but it's like I was there mostly like interested. Look, I just want to get the best possible coverage I can out of E3. Like, I don't give a damn about like having fun and all that. I mean, sure, it's cool if you have fun or whatever, but my main priority is going to be like getting coverage. That's all that's in my mind. But anyways, we go down there to the party for a little while because Aaron said, look, let's just have a drink, whatever, and discuss what you'll do next. Because, I mean, like I said, I basically parachuted into E3. No planning, no nothing. Okay, so this is the 9th, right? On the 10th, the press conferences start. So we're there at the bar, and for whatever reason, I can't even remember why, we met the founder of the Structoid, Nero, and I was like, whoa. So this is like what it's going to be like when I get to LA. It's just I'm going to meet like all these important people at all times, and it kind of was. We also met up with a couple of people from Maker there, and I'm going to have to apologize because I can't remember all the names of every single people I've met. For one, I'm terrible with names, and as most people already know, it's just like my memory is already pretty flawed as it is, and so I'll have to apologize. But I met some nice people from Maker who were at the party and met the founder of the Structoid. We saw a lot of Sony reps in there and a whole bunch of like more people. I was just like overwhelmed at this point because I had been up for over 24 hours and I had taken 2 plane rides, which I hate. I hate taking plane rides. Let me just tell you guys that right now. You guys already know the story that I was in a plane that was once struck by lightning and, you know, like people flailing their arms, food flying, Coke cups like flying into the air. Everybody's like, oh, we're gonna die. And yeah, I was in a plane like that. So you guys can imagine why I'm not a huge fan of plane rides. But anyways, so I'm just like massively tired and we're meeting all these people and I'm just like, whoa, just getting completely overwhelmed. And then Aaron tells me, okay, so here's what you should do. Like tomorrow you should come down to Maker and you should watch Microsoft's press conference from there. And I'm like, I'm not sure if maybe Portugal Gaming has something hooked up where I could go and watch Microsoft's press event like live. I just don't know. And I'm just like early confused. And it's like, look, you just need to take the metro from here to here and you're at Maker. And I'm like, but I don't know. And I'm just like, I was just like completely going crazy. And he's like, look, you have my number. It's like, if you want to do it like this, that's fine. If you just want to, you know, go off by yourself, that's fine too. But there's really nothing we can do about the whole Microsoft press conference. There was something I could do about the Sony press conference, obviously, because I met up with Sandra earlier when she was checking in to her flight. Okay. So anyways, the party was awesome and all that stuff, but eventually we all have to basically bail because it's late and I'm tired and all that jazz. So get to the hotel room, get myself some sleep, and wake up the next day. So the next day in the morning, I found out that my hotel, which has been ridiculously overpriced, doesn't even include breakfast. Now, I understand that for you American guys, this is like a standard thing. Hotels don't include breakfast. It's like perfectly normal. But for someone who's mostly stayed in Europe, I mean, most hotels over here do include breakfast. And I was like, what the fuck do you mean I'm paying all this money? And like, well, whatever, my father's paying all this money. And it's like, I can't even get fucking breakfast? What the hell is wrong with this place? So I just get out of the hotel like I'm completely friggin' insane. Like, what the fuck? And I get out of the hotel and it's like, oh, there's a Starbucks over there. I guess that's where I'll be having breakfast then, because it's probably going to be more affordable than however much the breakfast costs at the hotel. Like, probably having breakfast at the hotel would cost me like, I don't know, $50 or something. So I get Starbucks. I have a cappuccino and this turkey panini sandwich kind of thing. Like, I was looking at all the sandwiches they had there, and this one looked like it was the healthiest one. I hope I made a good choice, because you guys know I'm on that diet thing and all that jazz. So anyways, I grabbed that and I'm like, okay, I'm good to go. So I head down to the convention center, because I hadn't seen the convention center yet. And I just roam around through the convention halls for a little while, trying to, get my bearings and stuff. But you can't really go into the show floor. So the whole thing was kind of pointless to really be there. But I was like, well, while I'm here, I might as well go check up and see if there was ever a media badge for Portugal Gaming. So the way that media badges work and industry badges in E3 is basically you show them a picture ID, you tell them your first and last name, and they can instantly tell you if there is a badge for you there or not. So I get there and I'm like, okay, so is there a badge in my name? And they're like, yes, it says here, badge issued by Maker Studios. And I'm like, oh, that's the badge that I already have. I was actually looking for another badge. And she's like, no, there's nothing else we have. But if you're looking like for a media badge, it's a different place. You have to go over here. So I go to this other place, and they're like, everybody's being really nice, which I'm surprised, because, I mean, apparently there's like this concept in Europe, like this predefined concept, which I constantly struggle against, because people just say that American people not only aren't nice, they're also like stubborn and stupid. And I'm just saying to you guys, there's like this predefined notion about America in Europe. I actually fight against it, because I know a lot of American people online. I know a lot of them through Skype and whatnot, and I talk with them all the time. And I'm like, whenever someone comes up with that kind of argument, I'm like, that's not really the case. You're fucked up in the head. And it's like, I'm getting validated by every single person I'm meeting during this trip, I have to say. So it's like, it is definitely not the case. That predefined notion is just straight up bullshit. So let me just throw that out there while I'm talking anyways. So I go and I check up on the whole media badge situation, right? I get there and the lady tells me, so what's your name, whatever, show me your photo ID. I show her everything, my name, all that jazz. And she's like, yeah, there's a badge here for you, issued by Maker Studios. And I'm like, yeah, that's not the one I'm looking for. I already got that one. And she goes and she looks up again. What'd you say the name of the place was? And I'm like, it's Portugal Gaming. So they actually have like a website. I'm not sure if it's Athena or something. One of those websites that kind of just rank other websites. And she like went to rank Portugal Gaming. And she's like, oh, actually, the website that you're saying doesn't even have enough ranking to have a media pass. So we can't do anything for it. And I'm like, oh, that's okay. Thank you. That's fine. So there were no media passes either. And I'm just getting more confused by the second. So it's like, no flight, no hotel, no media passes, but still stuff scheduled with Sony. Like, what the fuck? I mean, doesn't that just give you a mind fuck? It's like, whatever. So at this point, I'm just really frustrated, and I'm just like, look, I'm just going to forget all about whatever. It's like, I'm just going to try to honor the commitments with Sony as much as I can, because there's no way that I can find out if there's anything scheduled with Nintendo, if there's anything scheduled with Microsoft. I have no way, because I don't know those people. I have no idea. For all I know, I could have crossed with them at the check-in line as well. I just don't know what the hell is going on. So as this is going down, it's already like 9 something. So I call Aaron and I'm like, look, I'm going to grab the train, whatever. I'm going to go to Maker and I'm going to meet you there and we'll watch the press conference there or whatever. And so I take the train to Maker and I actually go to the studios and like to Maker's, not the studios, the stage, Maker Studios stage. And I was just blown away. It's just like all this amazing stuff happening around me when I got there. And I'm just like, whoa, what the hell? This is like insane. So Aaron takes me through. He like gives me a little tour. He shows me up. He shows me like, if you guys were watching, the Microsoft press conference through twitch.tv/the game station, because the game station was doing live coverage of those press conferences. And at the time, I think it was Dodger, Jesse, and was it Simon that was there from Kast? I don't know. I want to say it was Simon. I'm not 100% sure if that's who it was there. But anyways, during the Microsoft press conference, whoever was there. So, and while they're doing this thing live, I'm like standing on the room where they're kind of like, mixing everything together and whatnot, and real-time editing of the live stream. I'm just looking at all this stuff and I'm like, what the fuck, man? This is insane. I'm so jealous of not having this kind of equipment available to me at my place. I'm just looking and trying to absorb as much as I can from this experience. And I'm just like, ah. So if you guys were watching that live stream at that particular time, I was like backstage where they were doing the live conference, which I just thought it was amazing. Anyways, this is also when I met up with Jason Serrato, who basically, let me just get my bearings in the document here, because I'm just like kind of lost at this point. Let me see. Okay, here it is, day 2. So, yeah, so I met Jason at the stage, and Jason was like telling me all the interviews that he was going to be doing. He had like a schedule, and he said, look, you can just follow us around, film wherever you want, do your own thing and all that jazz. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. And so it's like, I look at the very first interview they have lined up, and it's like, Dark Souls 2. And I'm like, I just hit the fucking jackpot at this point. I'm like, yes, like the very first thing I'm going to see in E3 is friggin' Dark Souls 2. It's going to be amazing. And I was like, yeah, that thing. And so then Jason also tells me, hey, how would you like to, do the interview yourself? And I was, what? That's awesome. And I just started like, coming up with questions and stuff, because like I was not prepared for that at all. Like I was more like expecting like, this is going to suck. I'm going to go to E3 and I'm just going to not be able to do anything because I didn't have any previous planning, and it's just going to be completely insane. But it turns out that they were actually going to let me do the Dark Souls 2 interview, that I was going to be able to see Dark Souls 2. And it's just, at that point, I was just like, oh, freaking amazing. And then from the stage, we go back to the offices, because Aaron had some work to do and whatnot. So I got to see Maker Studios' offices as well. And like from the offices all the way to the stage, like those are two pretty close buildings, but that's not the point. Like in the offices and in the stage of Maker, it's like, I can't even explain, because there's like this energy that surrounds both those places, and you can feel it like when you actually go inside. You can actually, like, you enter that place and you just see all these people doing all this stuff, and you can feel that there's some energy there. And I was like, what the fuck? It's like you could tell that everybody was there because they wanted to be there. It's not like, oh, damn, I got to go to work, I got to go do this. It's like, whatever. Doesn't matter if they were editing video, editing the live stream, being in the live stream, watching the live stream. It didn't matter what they were doing. Everybody was, just enjoying themselves with what they were doing as they were working in both, like the stage and Maker offices. I was like, fuck, this is just, there's just a work environment there that I can't even put it into words. There's just so much positive energy and passion that you guys just have no idea. It's like you would have to see it to be able to really believe that stuff. And then it hit me. It's like the reason why the game station is so popular and why Maker Studios is so successful is because they focus, at least from what I can tell, they focus on 3 things when they do their recruiting. They focus on talent. And this, by the way, this is not like something they told me or anything like that. This is just like me interpreting what I saw when I was there. They focus on talent, passion, and something that so many companies seem to forget, which is fun. Talent, passion, and fun. Those are like, I mean, if I would have to say, like, you know how the symbol of Maker is like 3 stripes? If I would have to say what those 3 stripes mean, I would say talent, passion, and fun. Those are Maker's 3 strikes. 3 strikes, 3 stripes, whatever. And it's just, I was blown away while I was there because, like, in this office, you would see everything from, like, for starters, it's all open space. Like, everybody knows what everyone else is doing. It's all open space. And then it's like you would see completely normal workstations, you know, just with papers and a computer and whatever. And then you would see other workstations which would have like a computer, a whole bunch of action figures, Nerf guns, balls from all kinds of sports. So like basketballs, footballs, whatever, foam swords. It's like all this kind of stuff just spread out throughout the office. And I was just like, man, it must be a fucking blast to work here. And it's like, I was just jealous, if I'm be completely honest at that point. I was just like completely jealous. Anyways, I then basically, I had lunch with Aaron at Maker Studios offices. I watched a little bit more of live streams. I did, some video management and whatnot because they had good Wi-Fi there. And then I just headed back to the hotel because I needed to get ready for the Sony press conference. I just had a shower, went through the procedures of going to the Sony press event, and they gave me like this elastic band, an elastic bracelet to put on your wrist that would like mean that you could go to the Sony press conference thing. Then there was actually a shuttle for my hotel that would take me to the Sony press conference thing. So that was pretty cool. I took the shuttle, went to the press conference thing. I got there like way earlier than I needed to. They had all this like free food that you could eat pretty much whatever you wanted. And it's like, I wasn't even hungry. But after like being there for like, I don't know, 2 hours or something, because like I said, I went really early. So I stayed around there for like a couple of hours. I was looking around to see if I could see someone I knew. I didn't actually knew anyone there, so it was like pretty bad. I mean, I met up with Sandra at some point, but they wouldn't let me stay in the same place she was staying because it was like media only. They were like, just kick me out. And I was like, okay, well, thanks. But whatever. So I was hanging out there for a while. After a while, I saw a couple of people that I recognized, but I didn't really knew them. The giant bomb guys. I saw, definitely saw Patrick's. I don't even know what his real name is. Whatever. I saw Patrick and one of the other guys whose names I can't remember, but I love his voice though. The voice of the other guy. He has a really good voice. I forget. Is it Brian? Brian Shoemaker? I don't know. Could be. Not sure. So it was Patrick and Brian, I think. Those were the two that I saw from amidst the crowd. But, I didn't really want it to be that guy that was like pestering them and stuff. So I was like, whatever, they're over there. Cool. And then I went and I had like 4 pieces of sushi because, I mean, it was free and it was sushi and I was getting a little bit hungry. And after that, I went into Sony press event, and I'm going to assume everyone saw the press event for Sony, which was amazing. And let me just tell you something right now, because every now and then you see a lot of video game reporters that say, oh my God, E3 is it's this big, like, monolithic event that's just a pain in the ass to go to. Like, oh my God, I have to go do all these conferences and all this thing. And it's like, oh man, it's going to be so boring. And it's like, and because there's actually a lot of people in the industry that have this mentality. Like, I've seen it on several, and I mean several places in the industry of people actually complaining that they have to go to E3. They're like, oh, we got to go to E3. We got to do all this stuff. And it's like, oh, it's a pain. And they're like, oh, I would rather watch this from my home. And let me just tell you something right now. I mean, if you're in the gaming industry at all and you're media, like, here's the thing. If you're not enjoying your job, like, maybe it's time for you to get a career change. Just honestly, like, because a lot of people are telling me, oh, you're just saying that because it's the first time. No, I'm sorry. I'm just sorry. But I would never say that being in the Sony press conference or watching it from home, I would never say that's the same thing. It's not even close to being the same thing. And whoever says that is just someone who is not passionate about the gaming industry anymore. I'm sorry. That's just facts, okay? Being at that press conference, feeling the energy of the people that are there, it is entirely different than watching it from your home. I mean, that's just the way it is. It's just the fact of life. Whether you like it or not, that is a fact of life. And if you work in the gaming industry, if you are media, and if you look at those events and you're just like, oh my God, I have to go and cover these events, I'm sorry, change your career, buddy, because there's something just fundamentally wrong with your way of thinking. There is, because it's fucking amazing. It's just, there's no words to describe it. I mean, eventually I'm going to do, a video either describing the Sony conference or the games that were announced in the Sony's conference. But in this one, it's just, like I said, it's just a trip log. So I went to the Sony conference. It was amazing. I filmed the entire thing. I'm probably never going to use that footage, but I still filmed it. I filmed the entire thing, and it's actually sitting on the same camera that I'm recording with right now, but whatever. I filmed the entire thing, and when it was done, I was just like, in a state of awe. And as I'm leaving the press conference, it's like I just exit out the door and I see someone just walk right in front of me in the complete opposite direction of the exit. And guess who that someone was? It was Adam Sessler with his hat. He's got like this hat on. Oh, speaking of hats, I should have worn the hat of souls for this, but whatever. Adam Sessler's just going right on through me and going on to probably do interviews or whatever. And at that moment, I was like, man, this whole thing is just so incredibly overwhelming. I'm sorry, I'm just pouring down some more tea because I've almost went through my entire glass, which is something that I'm not really surprised by. Okay, so let's just see what else. Yeah, so pretty much after the conference, I headed back to the hotel, and I worked on my Dark Souls questions to see if I could come up with something else that I could use for tomorrow's impending interview, and that was that. That was the end of my first day in Los Angeles.